We finally made it to talk about the show.
I mean, we didn't say when it was going to happen. We just said it was going to happen. And now it's happening. Period.
Halfway through the episode's airing, but it's fine. But hello, players. And also, DANI. We're going to talk about you, DANI. I'm excited about you, DANI. But welcome to the Cup TV, part of the Currently Unnamed Podcast Network, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy. Say something gay. Gay. I'm drinking some iced coffee out of a normal coffee mug because all of my cups with straws were dirty. But we are drinking a lovely, lovely pumpkin cheesecake iced coffee today. Because that's what I wanted to put in my coffee.
Word. And hi, everybody. I am Lana, your resident evil diva. And I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love to be some deeper. And if you have some tea, you know what to do, hit me. I'm currently drinking some Kool-Aid out of my, and mostly now it's just gonna be ice and water because you know I drank all the Kool-Aid. But out of my cup, and I have a straw for this cup, but I think I threw it away accidentally. So I'm gonna have to buy me a new straw. But yeah,
Work.
I really think I threw it away accidentally. But you know what I do have by me and always have by me is my cup mug. Ooh, panel full of cup mugs. Panel full of cup mugs. Our first panel full of cup mugs for the anonymous. Period. And you can get your cup mug or any of our cup merch at lanagscreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically here in the United States, Canada, Mexico, and internationally. So there are no excuses. Rep the cup. Period.
Yes. I am so excited to finally be here, Lana, talking with you about The Anonymous because I am loving this. I already hope it gets renewed for season 2. We're going to talk about the format because I love this format. We're going to talk about all of it. I am loving what I've seen so far of The Anonymous.
Absolutely. I was a little hesitant. I was like, okay, never saw this before. What is it going to give? Is it going to give? And then people were chiming in their dislike of certain things. And I was like, oh no, this is going to bother me. But after watching it myself, I was like, oh, it's not that bad. No. I'm not that mad. I can deal with this. And so I really do like this format. I felt for the first time in a long time when I've seen reality shows that, this is what I could actually do. Like, I felt like this is a show I could actually do. I feel comfortable enough to be like, yeah, I could actually do this. This one and The Circle and Big Brother were like the shows I was like, I could actually do these shows. Everything else, I'm like, ooh, no, I would never. I could never.
Right.
But I think I could actually do this one.
Good. But yeah, we're going to talk about everything going on with the first 2 episodes. And then later this week, we will be back to talk about episodes 3, 4, and 5. So we will be caught up going into next week where we will be back to doing up-to-date recaps as the season is going along. Life has just been lifing a little bit, so we're doing a little bit of catch-up right now. But we are going to dive into the first 2 episodes of The Anonymous. But before we do, make sure to subscribe if you've not already, because we're here almost all the time giving you almost all things reality competition TV. And we got 3 other YouTube channels as well with a lot of other content, so go check those out. Those links are in the description below, as well as where you can find our audio podcast links and our Patreon for exclusive content and early access. So, boom. Right off the bat, I want to talk about just the overall format of this because it is very unique for a competition reality show where you're playing half of it face-to-face and you're playing half of it in anonymous mode. And so we were talking before we started, it's kind of giving like The Circle meets a little bit of Big Brother, a little bit of like claim to fame in that like finding out who people are, a little bit of the mole. It kind of combines a lot of our favorite shows that we are talking about into this fun new format that I think is really cool.
The strategy of Survivor.
Yeah.
And then of course Traitors, because you are lying to people's face constantly about who you are and who, who it's just a lot mixed in, and I really enjoy that. I think it's such a good, cool concept to have, and I like the way they set this whole thing up. Like, I would spend so much time in those pods because I just like being by myself from time to time. I just like, can I go to the pod just to relax from time to time? You know what I mean? I feel like, do I need to be in the
Can
house?
Can I just go vibe in the pod?
Can I just go sit in my pod and just be like, oh, just need a moment of peace. But I thought this was so lovely. The way they got this set up, this house set up and everything is amazing. You first walk in and you walk into this round house.
The
round house is so beautiful. And everybody walk into the round house, and then they go to the center of the round house that's where they stand to get their results and all kind of things. And they all have their circles, and they sit on these circles, stand on these circles, and they get their results. And DANI talks to them. But then off from the round house, you have the square house. That's where you sleep. That's where you congregate and lounge about and talk. And so you have the square house. And then off from the square house, down the way is the pods, these individual places that's where you go into anonymous mode, and everybody has their own pod, and everybody goes into these things, and they go into anonymous mode, and that's where the game really starts to heat up. And I really enjoyed that. I like this. It's very futuristic, very, technology vibes. Everything is it's a smart house, literally, like really it's a smart house. And I thought it was such a good setup. I'm like, where are they? Like, where did they film this? So wild. But I loved it. I thought it was really cool setup, and we got to meet the contestants, and I feel like it's so many huge personalities in this game, which is going to make it a lot of fun. We have people who have been on TV before. We have people who've never been on TV before. We have people who have really exciting jobs, and we have people who are just regular jobs. And it's really cute, very diverse, very, a lot of people, a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different just personalities. That it was just really such a good group. And I really enjoyed this. I really did enjoy these first 2 episodes.
It sounds like, just from a little bit of a Google search that I did, it sounds like they filmed somewhere in Spain.
Okay.
So,
Work.
Sure. But speaking of the cast, we have a cute little cast graphic to talk about. Period. Obviously, we know a couple of these people. And I'm going to be honest, the main reason we wanted to talk about this season was because of Xavier and Nina.
Period.
I'll just say, and I'm loving it. I'm excited to watch the rest of the season, but it's mostly for Xavier and Nina.
That was that was my draw. I'm going to be honest. That was my draw. I was like, Xavier and Nina are on the show, then I will watch it and see what this is all about. Xavier from Big Brother 24, if you don't know. 23. What did I say? 24. Not 24. Xavier was in 23 with the cookout.
A black person won both of those seasons.
Period. So. Taylor won the next. But okay, Xavier was the first black winner of Big Brother. Yeah. With the cookout, the famous Cookout Alliance, one of the best alliance to ever do it. And the most successful alliance to ever do it. So that was that, and so that's something we cover here on the show, on the pod,
Mhm.
and love Big Brother fans. We're huge Big Brother fans here. And
Mhm.
then there's Nina, who was on Australian Survivor, Nina Twine. And if you heard that name, if you know the name Twine from Survivor, you know she is related, and she's the daughter of Sandra Diaz Twine from Survivor, American Survivor, and who won the
And
Queen
Australian Survivor.
and Australian Survivor, the Queen of Survivor. Period. Won twice, and Nina was on Australian Survivor twice, and so we covered her seasons here on the pod as well. You can go check
We
them
sure
out if
did.
you wanna. But yeah, so those were the two people who we were like, oh, absolutely watch it. But then come to find out, Andy is from the Friar Festival. If you're
Yeah.
into the Friar Festival, the Fire Festival,
Mhm.
you knew who he was. And people eventually realized who he was after he said that.
I gotta
So
say, I loved the reactions to that, but specifically, and I'm gonna say he is my favorite. I'm not gonna lie because I feel a very kindred spirit. Dylan's reaction to that was just Dylan's reactions to everything. Period
everything.
are just. Oh, I
Yeah.
love Dylan. I
Dylan,
love Dylan.
I am not surprised. The second I saw Dylan, I was like, Logan's going to love Dylan for
What? What do you
sure.
mean?
Absolutely.
Well, yes.
but but yeah, Andy's from Fire Festival, and everybody starting to figure it out. It was lovely. But we also have a amazing cast of just people who we don't know and who are probably going to make a really good name for themselves in the reality TV world if they wanted to. But we'll start with the top row. Serena. I don't remember her profession. Everybody had their professions.
Oh, I have it. I have
Oh,
it.
okay,
Don't you worry.
period.
Oh, she is a senior enlisted advisor in the army.
Work.
Yeah, 35 years I think she said something like that in the army. 30, 35, something like that.
One of our older cast members, and I'm like, you look amazing. Go on,
She
Serena.
looks so good.
Fabulous. Love her hair. Love her hair. Anyway, but she is someone who I was like, okay, let me see how this works. Let me see how she works, and I like how she's moving thus far.
Right.
Then we have Christopher.
I don't remember exactly what he does. His bio, it looks like it just says a charming outdoorsman who wants to play, who claims to want to play an honest game. So I don't remember what he does, but whatever.
I don't know what he does. All I know is Christopher's Christopher. He's going to be that guy for me. He's a good looking guy. He's a Southern guy. I think that really sums up who he is. He just wants to have a good time and wants to play an honest game. He seems like the type who wants to play an honest game. I don't know how far that's going to get him, but he seems like a real down home kind of guy,
Right.
just good looking all American guy. Just want to do what I
Very that.
do. And that's fine. Not really making a huge impact thus far for me on the first two episodes, except for one thing, but we'll talk about that later. Then we have Casey.
I don't remember what she does either.
She really didn't do anything in these first two episodes, to be honest.
But
we started. Yay.
Yay.
For her.
Therefore, I am rooting for her.
Word. As you should. But yeah, she didn't leave a big imprint on these first two episodes, but the second episode we'll start talking a little bit more about Casey. But the person who did leave a lot of impact on this first episode is Robbie, who is our professional poker player.
Yes, God.
And she is she left an impact this first round, and people started to recognize like either she's going to be really good for us or she's a threat.
Yep.
There was no in between and no middle for Robbie. Nope. She's either gonna work with or she got to go. So up next is Lily, who also made an impact, but not in the most positive way in the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what she does, but she's
I don't
very
either.
Lily was very minute.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very look, I won't even say minute. She was very mute in the first episode. The first half of the episode, which caused a lot of problems, which we'll talk about. And then we already talked about Dylan and how Logan loves Dylan. Dylan's amazing. Dylan's going to be that big personality that everybody's going to remember. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter what happened. We're going to remember Dylan. Um, and we have Sydney, who is a pageant queen, pageant
Pageant
girly.
girl.
She's a pageant girly through and through. She's gorgeous. She's stunning. I will give her that.
Mm-hmm.
She is stunning.
Yeah.
But she also made an impact in this first episode that, people remembered. So, and then Marcel, who is a video gamer, that's his job. He plays games 24/7. That's what he does. And impact was made with this one as well.
Yeah.
I'll say. And then from video games to board games, we have
Yep.
Jack, who is a board game connoisseur. He does board games. That's what he does. He too have made a quite the impact, if you will, with um in the first two episodes. Um he is for me, I'll just say, I'm not sure how I feel about Jack, but only time will tell. I do think he has the chops to go a long way in this game if he continues to play a game where he doesn't get caught. But I feel like the second he gets caught, it's donezo for him. He's he's toast. But he is a gamer and he is thinking about the long term of it all and how to navigate his way through
Yeah.
this game. He's thinking two steps ahead, which I feel like is what you need to do. So
Yeah.
I can
I
appreciate
think
that about Jack.
I appreciate the game that Jack is playing so far because I think Jack is the person so far. I think Jack, the two people that I think are playing the best, like complete opposite face to face versus anonymous games right now. I think the two people doing that the best are Jack and Nina.
Mm.
Because Jack is very like he's playing very very fast and very loose in anonymous mode, but then in face to face mode he's very like trying to be everybody's bestie. He's when we'll talk about his whole saga with Andy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Nina is coming off as a really really sweet person, and then is just very cutthroat in anonymous mode, which I am really appreciating because there's some people that are kind of blending
Mm-hmm.
their personalities in the two modes, and those are the people that are going to get called out a little bit
Mm-hmm.
faster, as we saw with the first elimination. That kind of ended up happening. So but I appreciate the game that Jack is playing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I agree with you. I don't know that I'm particularly loving Jack, but I definitely am appreciating his game.
Mm-hmm.
So
For sure.
But yeah, so they go into anonymous mode, or we get all of the intro to the anonymous stuff, and then we basically go immediately into the first challenge.
Well, I know you're probably like, what are these symbols? If you hadn't watched the show, these are the avatars. We put the symbols of
Yeah.
what each person picked when they went to anonymous mode to what they picked to be their avatar for the game and tried to stay anonymous. So those are what all those symbols are: fish, popcorn, butterfly, the truck, donut, shark, dice, and pizza.
Yeah.
Alien, wizard hat, money sign, and football.
Yeah. They got a list of like I think it was like 30 different
Mm-hmm.
symbols. And I love that there was a big variety.
Right.
I know the one that I would have wanted to pick for myself, but I think it probably would have given away who I was.
The rainbow.
No, actually.
No,
that's
like,
too obvious.
I would have been like, that is so obvious.
No, I wouldn't have done that. I would have picked the martini glass.
Yeah. I probably would have picked I probably would have picked the truck too because I feel like that has nothing to do with me. Nobody would ever
No,
think I would want to be a Mack
no,
truck, but my
right.
whole purpose is to roll over everybody in this game like a Mack truck. So that's why
That
I would
part.
pick it. But nobody would think I would pick that because when I come out of anonymous mode, I would be the complete opposite of a Mack truck.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, something
Um,
like that, or maybe like something very football, very guy like, but
yeah.
very girly.
But yeah, then after they pick their symbols for anonymous mode, then we get the first challenge, which is memorize those symbols.
Memorize them. Memorize.
So each person gets a certain number of symbols that they have to memorize, 1 through 12. If you get your sequence correct, you get $250 per symbol that you got correct, and if you get it wrong, you just don't get any money. And this was a cute challenge. I like this as the first challenge.
Yes, me too. I like how they did it with the symbols coming out of the waterfall. Very cute.
Oh, it was the production value of this show.
Woo, they had a budget, baby. They had budget. You know what it is? USA, NBC.
Yeah.
Got a lot of Peacock money from Love Island. I think they budget grew because of Love Island. So they were like, let's put some money into all of our shows. We're gonna see bigger budgets for Traders, I feel.
Oh yeah.
I fear we're going to see bigger budgets for Love Island Games when it comes out. And then the 7th season of Love Island, bigger budgets are happening. Thank you, Love Island season 6. Y'all have given the NBC Universal Productions a lot more money to work with. A lot more money. And Traders too, by the way. And Traders too, because those were the 2 number 1 shows on Peacock. So
I'm not surprised.
Me neither. I
am not surprised.
So this budget was everything.
Yeah. So some people got their sequences wrong. I don't remember exactly who it was, but
Sydney,
there were a couple people in the middle.
Marcel, and Xavier, and Christopher.
Not Andy.
Gotta try it.
Not Andy.
I mean, he got the first one. If he would have messed that up, I'd have been like, you were in the safe spot. Number 1. Andy went first, Tyrena went second. I probably would have went like 3rd or 4th. I'll be honest. I can only remember so much.
I think safely I would have gone 6 or 7. Because my short-term memory is fine, but it's not great by any means. So like I probably could have gone up to like 8, but I wouldn't have gone beyond that just because like I want to make sure that I'm getting money and I know my skill set, and my skill set is like my short-term memory is good, but it's not fantastic. And there was someone else that knew that their short-term memory was good and not fantastic, and that's Robbie.
She got 10.
She got 10. And the person who got the longest sequence correct was going to be safe from elimination. So she is safe from the first elimination because Xavier got 11 wrong, and Jack didn't even get to do the challenge.
Christopher
didn't even get to do the challenge.
All right.
Maybe I try to go for 12 then. Because maybe if I'm playing the long game, maybe this exact scenario pans out where they run out of time.
I would have went for 4, 5. That's my limit. I know from playing sequence games. I'd be like, after 5, I'm like, I don't remember. Right. But yeah, it was a good game. But like I said, and Sydney started the train of forgetting. So Sydney, then Marcel, and then Robbie got hers. Then Xavier messed up and Chris didn't go. But everybody else got theirs. So good on them.
Love it, love it, love it. But yes, so they immediately go into anonymous mode for the first time with each other. And they did not waste any time calling each other out.
Baby, this chat had me gooping and gagged. I was like, whoop, whoop. Poor Lily. She got called out right away. And Marcel in the anonymous mode is completely different. And he is like I'm gonna stir up something. Let's do it. What we
Mm-hmm.
doing? And goes right for the jugular and was calling out Lily, and then um uh Robbie was co-signing with Marcel about that, about Lily. And so then Nina was like, hold on, Lily is my girl, and I'm not trying to have Lily go out like this. So
Right.
let's throw out another name. So she throws out Sydney, and Sydney is like, oh, wait, what? And so Casey is like, yeah, Sydney is not doing much of nothing. So, and it was wild. It was wild. And then out of nowhere, Jack is like, Andy had the easiest
Well, Andy
one.
sucks.
Andy sucks. He got the easiest one. He had one. And I was like, oh, wait, that was your homeboy. Out when they talking out face to face, Jack is hyping up Andy. Andy is hyping up Jack. They like
It's
bestie
a great
besties.
strategy. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a great
No,
strategy.
it's perfect. It's so good. Sometimes you gotta hype up the people you finna throw up under the bus. Like, swoop. And it won't look like you because it's working, because Andy trusts Jack down. Andy is like, Jack is my guy. He would never do that. So it's like, it's working. It's working.
Mhm.
And Jack is like throwing Andy under the bus, but he don't want Andy to go. So he's kind of like pushing it out there, but then not being the one to send him out the door, because we'll talk about it. He had the chance to do that, but that's not what he wanted to do. That to me was let me know that Jack is really, really playing this game 2 steps, 3 steps ahead of everybody else, and it's kind of like
Absolutely.
wild. But we get a lot of names being thrown out, and they have to go right into the vote.
Right into the vote.
Right into the vote, because they go into the vote, and everybody, if you get one vote against you, you are in danger of going home. You are vulnerable.
I love that. I love that
too, because usually it's like majority votes win, and the top two, the bottom 2 people with the most votes on the block. No. You get one vote, you are vulnerable, and it's like, oh. So we go through the vote, and we find out who is vulnerable.
I'm gonna pop back here for a second, so that way the banner doesn't cut off Lana.
And
because it's a big old banner.
Because 7 people, yeah, we said 7, are up for elimination. 7. It's Sydney, Lily, Andy, Dylan, Jack, Marcel, and Christopher. Sydney got the most votes. Lily got the second the most votes, and everybody else got
Everyone
one
else
vote.
got one. Yeah.
I kind of just was like,
yeah.
I love this.
I do too. And I will say the other thing that I love is then, and there's like an hour in between, then we go into the test.
Yes.
And the test is predict who you think is each symbol, and the person who gets sussed out the least becomes the anonymous. I love that, as opposed to if you guess the most number of people correct.
Right.
Like, I love that it's, no one figured out who you are. Okay, cool, you're the anonymous. And I love that, like, this format is so good.
It's so good. I will be writing notes down who I picked, especially if I'm the anonymous. Now it's like, I got you right. I got you right. Woo! I would be guessing like, I would just be taking mad notes. But anyway, and they can take notes. Like, they all have notepads or whatever. I will be taking mad notes, comparing who I said each week. Like, if I changed it up and I was the anonymous this week, and then I changed it up and I'm not the anonymous, like, oop, that was right. I start figuring folk out. But we get to the test. They do the test, and they are like, we're going to tell you individually if you are the anonymous or not. And they go through and X on so many people. And it comes down, the craziness. It comes down to Jack, and Lily. And I was like, the gag. Both of these people are on the block.
Right.
Both of these people are vulnerable. It would be gag city for either one of them to win.
I hope we get a moment where someone that is up for elimination also wins the anonymous.
That's what I hope for.
I hope to see it. It has to happen at least once.
Eventually. I mean, both of these people were up for elimination, so it kind of
well,
happened.
I guess that is true.
It
already
happened.
happened. Well, Julie, I forgot Jack was up for elimination.
Jack was up, and so was Lily.
But yeah.
But that's how we end episode 1.
Yeah.
Is trying to see who is going to be the anonymous.
If they're going to cliffhanger us every damn episode, I'm going to be a little bit annoyed. But
they are doing that. Just be ready to be annoyed because they will cliffhanger us every single episode.
At least it's a cliffhanger that makes sense as opposed to the fucking circle where it's
right.
We're mid-episode. Cliffhanger. Why?
Why? But yeah, it does make sense. But I'm going to be honest. When I started watching episode 2, the second they showed who it came down to again, Lily and Jack, I knew exactly who was the anonymous. He has tails that are so giving. And I'm like, if y'all watch him a little bit more, you'll be able to figure this out. Because he gets so nervous in the face and he swallows a lot. He looks so nervous. I was like, oh, Jack is the anonymous. Jack is the anonymous. And guess what? Jack was the anonymous.
Why?
Pretends to be shocked. But oh my god, Jack. But yeah, Jack was the anonymous. And let's pull that graphic back up.
Oh, Jack. No. That one.
Mm-hmm. Jack is the anonymous. And he has the sole vote to send someone out the door. And he sends out Sydney.
Bye, Sydney girl.
Bye, girl.
Oh. Bye, Julie.
Bye, girl. But Sydney did not go quietly into the night. She had some confessions to make on her way out, which I was like, cute. Because Sydney and Christopher have started this little flirt rants back and forth. And Christopher was just like, Sydney's gorgeous. I'm in trouble. The second I saw her, I knew I was in trouble. And He was shooting his shot. He shot his shot. And she seemed to have picked up the ball. But in her confessional later on, she was like, I have a whole boyfriend at home waiting for me. But he told me if I got to flirt my way through this game to win $100,000, then do that. I said, oh, so your boyfriend pimped you out, girl? Okay, that's fine.
Basically. I also want to say, before we end off on episode 1 fully, I want to talk about my favorite quote of these 2 episodes.
Oh, okay.
And it came from Xavier, who I am glad, and no shade to Xavier, but I love that we're seeing more personality from him in 2 episodes of The Anonymous than we did on the entire season of BB23. But when they're calling out who each symbol has voted for elimination, when he goes, I don't see that bald head black man face up there.
I love Xavier. I've loved Xavier. I have loved Xavier since he's been out of the Big Brother house.
Yes.
So much.
Him on Reindeer Games was so entertaining.
Yes. Him on a challenge was entertaining. Him on his social media presence is very entertaining. I just think he needed to find his footing, and Big Brother he found his footing, and he probably looked back and was like, that's not me. I'm not that guy. I'm not that boring guy who they portrayed, who I seem to be in Big Brother. So let me show y'all who I am. And it didn't hurt that he won the game. And so he was like, this boring man actually won, and
it doesn't help that he's really hot.
Really good looking man. Like, really good looking. One of the hottest men on Big Brother history. Don't 100%. Care. Don't care. I will say it forever. And he is just, I feel like he was like, that's not the personality I want to leave everybody with. And so he went
Right.
on a challenge, showed who he really is. He goes online with the cookout. If y'all have not watched the Instagram lives with the cookout afterwards, you are missing out because they are hilarious. And Xavier is so wild and crazy and it's so fun. Him on reindeer games, amazing. We saw
Very
him now
entertaining.
very entertaining back in that Big Brother setting. And now we're seeing him in this setting on Anonymous. And he's so entertaining and so fun. And he's playing this game so smart because he did come out very, very early in the episode 1 and told everybody, but he was like, anybody else been on TV here? And they were like, no, he was like, somebody else has been on TV. He was like, I have too. And he was like, oh, what? And everybody was like, what'd you do? He was like, oh, I played Big Brother and I won. And usually you don't want to say that because the first I was like, X, why'd you say that? But then I was like, but
I think
X,
it's actually pretty smart.
it was smart because people put their guard down around him. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, he knows how to play these games. He's done it before. Let me be under his wing and see, you know.
Specifically, Dylan
Dylan.
immediately goes to him. And I'm like, I think that's an incredibly smart strategy for Dylan.
Huge. Huge. You want somebody who knows what they're doing. So if you're about to do something crazy, they can probably talk you off the ledge and like bring you back. Like,
Also,
oh, okay.
speaking of both of them, can we talk about the fact that we have 5 black people on this show? Is it 5? It's at least 4.
It's 4 for sure. I'm not sure about Marcel.
I'm not sure about Marcel either.
I'm not sure.
4 for sure. Hey, we'll take a third of the cast at least.
Beautiful.
We'll take it.
I love that we have. Well, we had more women, but Sydney's gone now.
We had more women. We still have. No, we don't.
No.
Oh, it's 6 and 6. No, it's 6 and 6.
Is it?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3,
Well, I don't
4.
know how Dylan identifies. I don't know how Dylan identifies.
Yeah, we don't know. Could be she, but they
probably
could be they.
Some yeah,
maybe that.
Yeah,
but that's fine. That's fine. But it's great. It's great. I still love this cast. I think this is a great cast. They really did they big one with this one. But yeah, so Xavier came out.
He him.
Okay. Xavier came out and let everybody know that he was on the show and he won a show. Then Andy comes out and it's like let everybody know that he was part of the Fire Festival. And Dylan reacted like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Wait, my favorite quote of episode 1 came from Marcel.
Oh, okay.
When they were in the pods, and Marcel is the one who put up Dylan. And he was like, Marcel said, I know. He said, wait, let me hold on here if I can hear him screaming like, what? Who did that? Man, please don't do it.
It was so good.
Game on. I'm coming and cue Dylan. Who did that? Oh my God.
And then Marcel impersonating Dylan. Everything. Love it. Oh my God. I
loved it so much. I laughed. I was like, the fact that the producer and the editing team went back and forth between the two of them.
This editing team, baby, you are on one.
They did it. It was so good. I laughed so much. I thought that was so funny.
And another thing, we got to talk about Miss DANI.
Oh, yes,
because
we do.
DANI either is controlled by a homosexual or a black woman. Because the way,
one and the same. Because y'all homosexuals want to be black women.
Hello, homosexual black woman. But the way that every time, and it's Dylan specifically. Every time Dylan talks to DANI, it is so shady.
Dylan and Xavier.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Dylan and Xavier are getting like that's why I say it's controlled by a black woman. That's for me, because I feel like they feel very comfortable talking to Dylan and Xavier and being like, no. That's not what's gonna happen. But when she told Dylan in the episode, I think it was episode 2, he was like, and wear the hat because it's about you strap
It's
on.
time to saddle up.
Time to saddle up. I was like,
And
what?
then when Dylan was like, "Hey Danny, can I get an inspirational quote?" And she's like, "Whatever you do, always give 100%." And Dylan's like, "Yes, yes, yes, yes." And then Danny's like, "Except when donating blood." Bitch, Danny is it.
Everything.
Fuck Lana. Fuck, well, not you, Lana, but Lana from Too Hot to Handle. Sorry, Lana.
Ainsley.
Fuck Ainsley. Fuck the circle. Danny is it. Danny is the one.
Danny is the AI I like. Danny is my favorite AI, even if one is named Lana and I am Lana. But AI Danny is killing the game. Xavier was like, Xavier was like, Danny, can we just cheat? Could you just tell me the answers so I know? And he was like, and then he said, yes, Xavier is the fish.
He's the fish.
I love it. I'm here for Danny. I will always stand for Danny, period. The winner of the show is Danny. Let's just call it a buck.
Yeah, honestly.
But
yeah, let's go into episode 2 finally.
Right, yeah. So Sydney leaves and she tells everybody she has a whole boyfriend. Christopher was like, oh. He felt
Do your thing.
Do your thing. Do your thing. She's like, sorry, Christopher. Just let you know. Don't try to contact me after the show.
Right, literally. So then we get a little bit of Jack is like, okay, well now I need to deflect off of me. I need to deflect off of me because I was the anonymous. I need to put it on someone else. He decides he's going to put it on Marcel. He's like, I'm going to deflect onto Marcel. Okay. I mean, he was up for elimination. It makes sense. He is one of the bigger personalities.
It was easy too because everybody was already thinking it was Marcel. Like he didn't even have to say anything. Everybody was like, I think it's Marcel. Yep, I think it's Marcel. So he was like, I mean, I'm with y'all.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh.
Yeah. And then we go basically just into the challenge.
Yeah, I mean, like normal conversations throughout the house.
Yeah.
Nina was trying to give Lily a pep talk, trying to tell her now that she knows that people think she's too quiet.
Yeah.
She needs to go out and talk and interact with people more. And so that's a duo I didn't see coming, but I'm okay with it.
It's giving. Who was Nina really closely aligned with on Australian Survivor? Because it was similar archetype. Like, she is playing a similar game to Australian Survivor, and I'm really not mad at it. But
yeah, I don't
remember.
I can't remember, but I know she was very close with the guys too in Australian Survivor because that too she wanted to work with. But
but yeah, we go into this second challenge. I really like this challenge as well. We've got a rotating We've got a rotating,
cube
shape,
folk structure.
It was like a big crystal kind of with holes in it.
Mm-hmm.
I just played a game similar to this when I was in Vegas. Because I went to, it's called Play Playground. If you're in Vegas, go to Play Playground. It's basically like giant Big Brother games. Okay. It was very fun. Highly recommend. My hip was bruised for like 2 weeks afterwards, but I did sign a waiver, so I can't sue them. It's fine. But I played something very, very similar to this. It was very fun. Where you got to throw the balls in as it rotates. Every ball you get in, you get, I think it was $50, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also a hole for each player towards the top. And if you get a ball in somebody's hole, ooh, that sounds bad. Then they are blocked from receiving safety if they get the most balls. Come to find out, that became very, very, very important in this challenge because the person that got third, or technically fourth, won the damn safety. Because they're going around, they're doing their thing. Nina here is like, I either need to block Marcel or I need to block Robbie because she is not really trusting Robbie. Now that Robbie isn't safe, she's like, okay, Robbie's a bit of a threat. Maybe I need to target Robbie. So they're doing their thing. They are, I think, and it is Nina, I think, that ends up blocking Marcel, I believe. And Marcel did tie for the most. Jack was the other person that tied for the most. He also got blocked by Dylan. And I did love when Dylan was like, oh no, I got it in Jack hole. Like, all right. Dylan, you know what you're doing on this show, and I'm a fan of it. I'm a fan of it. But so then we go to the person who had the next most, which was Nina. Yay! Except she's also blocked.
And Tyrina accidentally threw it in her hole. She was like, Tyrina was like, if I threw it in mine or Nina's, we're both. I don't remember. I can't tell.
And it's a genuine. I hope this doesn't come back to bite Tyrina because I like her.
She genuinely wasn't trying to.
And I do appreciate that she told Nina. I couldn't tell exactly what Nina's response was, but based on the conversation they have later in anonymous mode, like she didn't really bring it up. So, and nobody really brought it up because nobody's bringing up Tyrina. Period. Which, hey,
period.
And nobody's bringing up Nina either. Period. So then we go to the person who got fourth. And we find out that it is Xavier. Xavier is safe from elimination. Purr. Love to see it. We will not be seeing the bald head black man's face on that screen. Period.
No,
period. And I thought it was shady too that DANI was like, oh, and the person that got the least was Andy. It's like,
right.
You didn't have to say
that. You didn't have to say that, DANI.
Or if you're going to do that, you could have said like the bottom two or the bottom
three.
Like,
why call out Andy like that? Because
poor Andy.
He was trying.
Who do you think got the second least? Because I have a prediction.
I think it was Casey.
I thought it was Casey too. It could have been Casey. It could have been Lily too, because Lily was missing a lot of hers. But yeah, so Xavier is safe from elimination. But then we go into anonymous mode later. And this one, we're keeping the same energy. I appreciate that the energy is the same. It didn't increase, it didn't decrease. Jack's plan to kind of target Marcel is working. Because a lot of people are bringing up that Marcel was really, really good in the challenge.
And Marcel said he was really good because his family owns
a carnival business.
Like they rent out carnival games and things like that. And he was like, I practice these little whole balls and holes all the time.
Right.
And I was like, work. Who'd have thunk your childhood just throwing stuff around in balls and holes would work for you? And it did. He had 66 balls in there. I was like, work.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was targeted very much in the chat.
Yeah. Robbie is another person that gets majorly targeted in this chat also. People are not trusting her. I mean, Nina kind of stirs up the conversation a little bit. People are running with it. I'm not surprised. But the votes are a little bit more not as spread out this time.
Yeah, even before that, like before we get into the vote, we did have conversation when they were face to face, and people don't know who everybody is, and Christopher and Jack were calling. Like Jack called out Dice because Dice was the one who voted for him last time, and Robbie is sitting right there listening, and was like, this was where I'm like, oh, this game is gonna get good because they don't know who these two are. And then they were like, you know who else didn't say anything? Shark. And Casey's is like,
and then after we find out who's up for elimination too, Andy's sitting there, and he's like, I just don't know why these people are targeting me. And the two people that nominated him are sitting right there, Casey and Jack.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh no.
Like,
I'm excited to see more of these instances where it's like, I can't believe that $ did this to me with Marcel sitting right there.
Sitting right there. So wild. So wild. I love it. I love every bit of it.
So good. I
But
love it. I love this show.
I do too. But we get the votes.
Yes. I'm gonna go back here real quick so we don't
Mm-hmm.
block you.
Of course.
So we have up for elimination is Robbie, Lily, Andy, Marcel, and Casey gets a rogue vote.
Mm-hmm.
All of the other ones made sense because a bunch of people came after Marcel, a bunch of people came after Robbie. Lily got a couple again, Andy got a couple again, and then it was Marcel that threw a rogue vote onto Casey.
I mean, Marcel is the one throwing rogue votes on everybody. I feel like
because he threw a rogue vote on Dylan in episode 1. So
right. So I feel like that's his thing. And he reminds me so much of some of the org players I've played these games with online, who's just like, I'm here for the giggles,
for the chaos.
For the chaos, and I'm gonna throw this rogue vote here, and it could hit anybody. It can hit anybody.
I probably would do the same thing. I honestly would probably do the same thing.
I would too, because I'm like, if everybody's going for Robbie or Lily or Marcel, I'm not gonna be the one that's we already got that covered. Let's throw somebody else in the mix that they be like, oh, I would definitely do that. I would 100% do that. Maybe I shouldn't say my game plan just in case I end up on anonymous online, so people won't know that I would do that.
Right. Very that energy. Very that energy.
But yeah, I get it. I love it. I kind of love it.
Yeah. And we are left on the cliffhanger. We find out 3 of these people are safe. So we are left on the cliffhanger of either Marcel or Casey is going to be the second person voted out of the game by the anonymous. We don't really get a clear indication of who it could be. It might be Jack again. And it would not surprise me in the slightest because I think Jack is playing a really good game.
Mm-hmm. And I think he's on to a couple of people of who they might be. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was Jack.
Yeah. Who do we think, Lana, is gonna be eliminated? Since neither of us have actually watched episode 3 yet at the time that we're filming this video.
Right. Honestly, I think it might be Casey. Just for the chaos and the shield of keeping Marcel around makes sense for the anonymous. Because he will always be a name to go out.
Yeah. I think if it's Jack, I do actually think he goes for Marcel.
Mm-hmm.
I think if it's anybody else, I think they get rid of Casey as collateral damage.
Mm.
I don't want to see either of them go. That's the thing. I like both of them, but
I could see either way, honestly.
Yeah, I could too.
But that's 1 and 2, and I'm very excited.
That's where we're gonna leave off. Yep.
I'm very excited to come back and talk about 3 and 4,
and 5
and 5, 3, 4, and 5. We'll be back on schedule next week. 3, 4, and 5. Coming out later on this week. But this was such a good show. This was such a I really enjoyed this for in between stuff that we already know. Like we covered Big Brother, or we're covering Big Brother, and we know Big Brother pretty much left and right, even with the new twists and stuff. That it's just like we still know the gist of Big Brother.
Right.
And Survivor's coming out. We know the gist of Survivor. We know that how it's going to happen. Even the Circle is like we get the gist of the Circle, and I feel like this is the refresher. This is like a good in between.
It's a good palate cleanser,
right? Because we just had Love Island, which we felt was a good palate cleanser. It was like, oh, this is so good. This is great. We went into Big Brother where we're like, okay, we know what this is like. We know what this is like. We had Claim to Fame. Even we know what it's like. We know what it's going to do. Yeah. And now we have this new show that we've never covered before. We've never watched before. And it's like, oh, this is all very new and exciting. And I like it.
It's refreshing to watch something different finally.
Mm-hmm. And then we're going to go back.
We love the shows that we cover.
Absolutely. We're going to go back into Survivor with just as much vigor and excitement. But it's not going to be like this, because this is going, like I said, it's a very good palate cleanser, and I love it.
Very that. So that is where we're going to leave off for this video. We will be back later this week talking about the other 3 episodes that have already happened. So 3, 4, and 5. So thank you for joining us. Let us know all your thoughts down in the comments below. Make sure to check out the description where you can find all of our audio podcast links, our other YouTube channels, our Patreon, our social media, and where you can get your merch, including but not limited to cup mug. And with all that being said, stay anonymous. Cheers. Bye.